So I think you bring up interesting points there, which leads us to a lot of different discussions. And I feel crazy because I just looked at the time. We're 55 minutes in, and I feel like we haven't talked about anything yet. That's how I genuinely feel right now. But I feel like what you just said opens up a whole can of worms. So you made a half joke on Twitter, or maybe it was 100% just full on joke, that if Real Madrid this was around when Casemiro scored and he pulled one back, that if Real Madrid come back here and get a result, then we're all going to pretend that this was a great performance and that this was a masterclass. And, the way we were playing this game, 39 crosses it was, right? 38 or 39, 37. I don't know why I have those three numbers in my head mixed up, but I heard...
Because it was compared to the two other games like Shakhtar and Gladbach where we didn't play well.
Okay, so what was it?
This was more than all of them. 39.
39 tonight. Okay, that's a lot. It's a lot. It's not peak Lopetegui's record-setting one last year yet, but it's up there. Now, if you're going to have Mariano in the team and you want to get the best out of him, the math of 39 crosses to him seems okay to me, in that you should be able to get one or two goals out of that. They didn't get any goals out of those. But, if you replay this game 9 times out of 10, who knows what happens? Maybe Hazard gets a penalty. Maybe Mariano doesn't have a freak goal line clearance denying him, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Just kind of maybe this Real Madrid do come away with a victory in a parallel universe, and it's a different discussion. But then would that be the right discussion to have if we were just saying, oh, this worked? What's interesting is that against Inter, that wasn't the case, right? So, and Mariano was in the lineup for that. So what was different? Odegaard's presence for one. So basically anytime there's a couple things. One is that Inter defensively, vertically, were not nearly as competent as Alaves were tonight. I don't care what you say. I don't care that it's Antonio Conte. That team defensively was a mess. But the other thing was that anytime Real Madrid had the ball in their build-up, Odegaard was always there in front of Cruz, showing for a pass. And if the pass wasn't on, he would drift to meet him in a nice passing avenue that was conducive to the team's build-up. So Odegaard wasn't there. And so now I really want to talk about kind of some of the tactical flaws today, because we had a similar discussion against Mönchengladbach when Fede Valverde has that last-second goal, but it's disallowed, which I remember having the same conversation after the podcast. Like, if Fede scores that and Real Madrid win, what kind of conversation are we having? Do we just forget about that performance? And so I kind of do wonder. It is interesting that both against Inter and against Alaves today, we had Mariano in the team. The one of the variables that wasn't there was Odegaard. So against Inter, we had 10, 11, 12 crosses total, and a lot of central kind of build-up. And against Alaves, it wasn't like that. And I think there was a case that we should have been more centrally, and that is backed up by two things. One is that Hazard's success in the first half, coupled with Marcelo and Asensio taken out of the game because the flanks were so packed, and also Odegaard and Isco coming on in the second half, and not necessarily turning the game on its head. But I will say with confidence and conviction that Isco, in his goddamn, I closed the tab, and who scored is like so hard to bring up again. But but Isco is like, in 20 minutes, I remember checking, like, his numbers across the board were better than Modric. He was more involved than Modric, even more involved than Rodrigo, who came on earlier in the first half, and certainly more involved than Asensio, who was, again, just zeros across the board. And, and this is Isco, who his first touch of the game was horrendous. He had one shot that went to the sky. But still, he also hit the crossbar. He had some good passing sequences. It just, him and Odegaard together in the middle made a difference to me.